welcome back, Trương Minh Quý. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for this beautiful film. So I was thinking, you said in the introduction that you were last here with The Treehouse, which was a documentary film, but with a fictionalized framing. And I was thinking about how this film, my understanding was that your starting point was this tragic real-life event in the UK of 39 migrants, Vietnamese migrants, who were found dead in a container. So I wondered if you could talk about your process of starting point, but of structuring your narrative and working from that.
Yeah, so I think I started the ideas shortly after I just moved to France for studying, actually after New York Film Festival. So from here I have to go to go back to the school after. So the event you mentioned, actually it happened just shortly after that, and I think it's really difficult for me to talk about that in how to say, in a clear way, because this is a very tragic event, and so how to say, the city where I was living during that time, it was in the middle of the journey of the container, whose beginning was a port in Belgium, and then the end is in the access in UK, and the city I was living in somehow in the middle of that journey. So I think this proximity of the location and also of being Vietnamese, it poses a lot of questions for me, and it's not easy, very difficult question. And so yeah, when I decided to make a new film, this one, of course, it's a combination of what I have been doing before, like in The Treehouse, even this element of memory and being homeless. But yeah, in this film we have that really that real event. But the film, of course, like you watch, is not the adaptation or the retelling of that event in any way. The only thing that I think I would like to keep and make it more universal is the image of a container itself. So that when somebody knows about the event, of course they can make a link. But if you don't know about the event, you still can have some personal interpretation about that content, about the image of a container or any container, because we all know that how migrants or refugees they travel inside containers. Yeah.
Will you say a little bit about, did you sit down and write a whole script, or was there a lot of improvisation on set, or like how did it kind of come together?
Yeah, I think it's both, because for the script writing, it went quite fast, because yeah, I think in the film you could see that even though the structure actually because of the structure came later, much later in the end during the editing. So but for the script writing, because I decided in the beginning that the characters should really speak what they feel, so in a way that the film feel very lyrical. So in that way, I don't have so much problems in solving the dramaturgy or this kind of thing, because okay, if you think about something, just speak it out. So it's for the characters, and of course the improvisation, which came during the scouting and the casting, because this film is with non-professional actors, especially for main actors. So I think the stories and the characters have been adapted to match the real person. And of course, I think the improvisation also not only come during the shooting, which is quite often, but also come during the editing. Yeah, how the structure become different. Yeah.
Will you say more about working with the non-professional actors and how you found them?
I think I found them, of course, combined in different ways, like normal casting, street casting, asking a friend. So yeah. So I think working with them, I think the work of how to say of for them and for me is it mostly done during the casting and during the rehearsal. So there's not much to do actually during the shooting, because what is more difficult, as I expected during the casting or the rehearsal, actually is it was easy for them. For example, like the kissing scene, which is very easy for two of them. But then for some simple things, it's more difficult. Yeah. But I think basically what I was looking for in the actors and actress in the film is this kind of already the sensitivity and a certain presence. But for the veteran, of course, it's a bit different because he's a real veteran, so he has this very distinguished look, which is he lost one arm, and just by looking at him, we know that he's a real war veteran. And so actually the confession scene, what the characters say is not in the script, but it's what changed during the casting to match his real memory. Yeah.
My understanding is the coal mine was something you all created for the film. Can you talk about that?
So yeah, we have the two parts for the coal mines, which the first one is on the surface, the factories and other things were shot in the real coal mine company. But for the underground, we couldn't do in the real location because it's too dangerous. Yeah, to bring all people down and then the equipment, and then it can explode anytime because there's gas, there's anything in the air underground. So we have to build a set in a cave. So to make it look like a coal mine, it's a volcanic cave whose have it's a volcanic cave that already has a natural tunnel that look like a man-made tunnel actually. So yeah.
Let's open up to some questions. Oh, yeah, there's one over here. We're gonna bring the mic to you.
Can you hear me? I actually saw the film yesterday, and then I thought about it overnight. So here's my question. Obviously, it functions on several levels. And what I was curious about is how much of the relationship of the two characters is really about Vietnam, the country, and the relationships, the different aspects of the country of Vietnam and its own personal, its history. How much of it is an analogy for the country?
It's a very difficult question because actually, but first, thank you for coming back again. Actually, during the film, we never hear their names. Yeah, we don't know their names in the film. We only know about their names by the title or by what we read on the newspaper about the film. So for me, this is about this very tiny gap between that. And so inside that gap, of course, we can think that their personal story is a symbolic for the country, Vietnam, also the same name, or maybe not, or maybe both, because here the film work in this kind of duality, and duality of the vision, like the underground and the crowd, and also the past and the present. Also the duality of having name or having no name, this kind of thing. But it's not this. It's not this. The duality here is not something like the two lines go parallel and that never meet. But for me, he is. It's more like when we look at our face in the mirror actually. And then actually it's the two images, but actually it's one. So I think we can think like that also for this question. Yeah.
And you named the characters, even though those are common names in Vietnam. You did name them for.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I think there's some intention there, but there's still something that out of joy, I think, out of playfulness, because if I name them different names, okay, it's normal, but with this name it's different.
There's a question here.
Hi, hello. I am from Hanoi, Vietnam. Very nice to see your film. And my question is, when you made the film, did you expect it to be banned in Vietnam? And who was the audience of this film that you are aiming at? Is it the people that at film festivals or the people in Vietnam?
This question I think have different temporality, yes, because it depends on which moment of the process. So the question will have different answers. So okay, at the beginning, of course, I am aware that the materials of the story are sensitive. So yeah, that I'm aware. But I think at the beginning, I was not thinking so much about the censorship or the outcome of the film, because I think if I let myself be occupied by that at the beginning, it would be not good for the film. So of course I'm aware that the materials are sensitive, but it's sincere too at the same time. And for the censorship, I think I was not so shocked when I know that the film was banned, but I think because before we sent the film for the censorship, which was just before the Cannes premiere, I was expecting some kind of unexpected hope, this kind of thing that okay, even though the film is sensitive with this kind of different stories, but because the film is sincere and moving, so maybe it would be different, but it's not. But anyway, I think the ban is a very how to say, it doesn't have the foundation because it's based on certain fear, that okay, this film is a bad portrayal of the country, which is not. But actually, basically today you cannot ban anything because people will watch it anyway. So for the question about audience, how to say, because of the ban, now actually there are a lot of Vietnamese people watching the film. So I think if they didn't ban the film, I think not many Vietnamese people, especially Vietnamese people, we hear about the film. So in a way, the ban creates this very weird effect. But eventually, I wish it shouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Thank you for your beautiful film. I love it so much. I was especially struck by the beginning of the film. You included this piece of audio from like a public announcement looking for people who has information on where like people killed in action were buried. And that became the main story of your film. And my question is, when did that become an important aspect of your story? And additionally, how important is location to the development of your film?
So I think, like my generation, when we was growing up, we used to see this a lot on the TV. That's a real TV news program about searching for the burial places of the soldiers. And so, of course, in this film, I need something to make the story clearer. So, of course, I think that news is there, because we can understand that the characters, the mother and the son, watching the news all the times. But it's also created a very haunting effect, I think, because the TV keeps talking about dead people and searching for them. I guess for all of you, it's very strange because I think it's something that very historical. Even today, this day, I think this news is not that, how to say, present anymore. So, yeah, for the question about location, yeah. The location, how to say, most of them are real locations, actually, like the house of the main character and his mother. It's like that, which we didn't really touch anything, and we try not to lie so much. And also because I think I would like to keep this feeling like in a documentary. But I think when we say documentary, we mean that something that real. So yeah, because yeah, I didn't really want to intervene so much to the reality. So it was a bit difficult at the beginning to find the suitable place. Actually, it's not suitable place. It's the place that we can project the film there more than a suitable place to the film. So yeah, so the film travels from north to south actually, and for some location we could know the geographical spot, but for some we don't really know. We only know the space of the location. But yeah, the film from north to south. But the film tried to blur that the locations. But for Vietnamese people, I think you know. Yeah.
Time for one more.
I was wondering if you could. Oh, sorry. Were you pointing at me or someone else?
I think they have the mic back there.
We can do two.
Sorry.
Maybe two.
Yeah, hi. Just something quick. I was struck by when the specific time period said it was during 9/11, basically. And I wonder, like, what is the intent of setting it in a specific time period? Was it when you talked about the drowning of the migrants? Was it during that specific time, or just I want to know, like, well, I mean, it's why set in that specific time rather than, of course, the present?
I think there are many reasons. First, that's the idea to actually. It's very simple because it's the logic of the narrative. So that the character shouldn't be too old, still a bit young, like growing up after the war. So around that time, it seemed fine. And also, yeah, the film mentions about 9/11 because of these personal memories, because I had during that day in my hometown. I was helping my aunt serving food in the restaurant in her restaurant in my hometown, and then on that morning people keep talking about this event 9/11, and they discuss and they gossiping a lot of things. It seemed like suddenly. I didn't know anything about New York at that time, of course, but then I had that image of that event, of the towers. So as two places strangely connected at that place. So yeah, because of that personal memory, so yeah, I put that 2001. Of course, it could be 2000 or 2002 or 3, it doesn't really make difference. But also, I think in the film, the film tried to, how to say, blur all of these timelines actually. Funnily, for example, if Vietnamese people they watch, they could recognize some image actually from modern time. I mean today time. It's not really from the past. But I leave it there so that there's this kind of ambiguity. You talk about the past, but actually there's something that still remind us that it's a presence. But another reason is I think it's a deeper, it's emotional one, because it's linked to the question about the container actually, the event of the container. So I would like to put the event in the past as a way to console. Yeah, because it's the past. Now it's already past 20 plus years. So we have the privilege to think that everything has been better. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up.
Okay.
But thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you all.